In the heart of Europe, bordered by France, Italy, Liechtenstein, Germany, and Austria, lies Switzerland, a nation unlike any other. This country has long been known for its political neutrality, the Red Cross, and its beautiful mountains. But those aren't the most interesting characteristics. The answer to that lies in its metropolitan areas. Populous cities like Zurich, Geneva, and Basel offer historical riches and are international stop points for travelers. You wouldn't be considered foolish if you confused any of these for the capital city of Switzerland. You would also get a pass for naming Bern, the city that holds the Swiss Federal Assembly and government, as the official capital. This city, surrounded by a river, hosts not only the official governing body of Switzerland, but it has a long history of leading Switzerland, despite its small size. Though it's common practice for those outside the country to cite Bern as the capital, this is in fact wrong. Why does a nation as economically and socially powerful as Switzerland lack a capital city? Where most countries are concerned, the largest city assumes the role. The answer lies in Switzerland's unique political and government system that started hundreds of years ago. This strange status can be traced back to 1291, when Switzerland was founded as a union of cantons, or subdivisions. This was back before Switzerland even became a nation. It was more of an alliance of like-minded states. The ancient regime was formed as a way for these regions to protect themselves against invasion, as well as push their expansion agendas. As time went on, more cantons developed, and as Switzerland got bigger, the debate about a capital city would often occur at the twice-yearly conferences held by the then 13 canton representatives. These meetings were known as Tagsitzung, and while a capital city was a point of discussion, it didn't stop the leadership from cooperating. What triggered the desire for a capital city came during the French invasion of 1798. The Napoleonic Wars shifted the state of the regime, as the invaders decided to establish a one and indivisible republic under the French model. The area became a French sister territory known as the Helvetic Republic. The ancient regime was demolished, and efforts to bring the cantons into one state began. French leadership were not too keen to make Bern the capital city, because the city had put up the greatest resistance to invasion. This led to a game of tag that saw the Republic have 4 capitals, including Aarau and Lucerne in the span of 5 years. As the Napoleonic Wars raged on, French invaders attempted to balance expectation with the act of mediation. See, at the time, the old confederacy and leadership had been dismantled, which is why multiple capitals were put in place. The Swiss were not happy with the destruction and unification of their cantons, and many uprisings happened. French troops were often brought in to calm things down, but that only added to the frustration of Swiss citizens. By 1803, the French were taking heavy losses in the war, and that led to their attempt to merge French and Swiss leadership through the act. The compromise abolished the Helvetic Republic, which wasn't working out too well for the French or the Swiss. It also established the Swiss Confederation. This also meant that no city would take the title of capital, much like the time before the French invasion. The title of capital, or area of the central government, would switch between 6 different cities until 1815, when the French were completely expelled. Once Switzerland was an independent and unified state, they kept the practice of switching capitals, but limited the candidates to Zurich, Bern, and Lucerne. The idea was that the distribution of influence between cities would ensure balance and a shared sense of national contribution. The cantons also wanted to maintain some sort of independence and separation from one another. With the adoption of the new constitution in 1848, the Switzerland we know today was born. As the nation grew, switching capitals didn't seem practical, and talks of a capital city reappeared. The conference held on November 28, 1848, determined which city would finally hold the title. Though Zurich was the largest, the parliament members thought making it the capital would send the wrong message when it comes to the shared power philosophy. It was decided that Bern would be the official home of the Federal Assembly, which is Switzerland's governing body. This brings us to today. Currently, Switzerland has 26 cantons and 4 national languages. German, French, Italian, and Romansh represent the majority, but there are several dialects spoken all over the country, and English is more common nowadays. The decentralized method of governance seems to work just fine with a relatively peaceful society. The administrative significance of Bern often leads people to mistake it as Switzerland's capital city, but within Switzerland, it's a commonly known fact that there is no capital. Even official records state that the Federal Assembly meets in Bern, or the official seat of the Federal Council, the departments, and the Federal Chancellery is the city of Bern. Switzerland is very serious about keeping power evenly spread out. By basing the criminal justice buildings in Bellinzona and the Supreme Court in Lausanne, they ensure things remain fair. Bern stays in the shadows when compared to its economically and culturally powerful sister cities, but the place has some unique history of its own. Bern was founded in 1191, and the legend is that a duke who was exploring the region decided that he would name the city after the first animal he saw. Sure enough, his hunting expedition spotted a bear. Bern is a German take on the word. The city's coat of arms even has a detailed and vibrant bear illustration. So, will Switzerland ever name an official capital? Chances are no. Switzerland looks to be enjoying its current state. Not only do they have one of the highest life expectancies in the world, but they are statistically one of the happiest populations. The country has also been passionate about its independence. Despite its Central European location, Switzerland continually refuses any membership into the European Union. They were hesitant to join the United Nations, despite the headquarters of the League of Nations, which kicked off the UN, being located in Geneva. In true loyalty to its neutral state, the Swiss have not participated in any modern war, including World War I and II, but that doesn't mean that they are completely unprotected. The Swiss have one of the most capable armies, and while they do not fight, they are ready to protect themselves. Their strategic location along the Alps and the fact that most residences are in between the high mountainous areas makes Switzerland a nightmare for anyone trying to invade it. They are so consistent with fair distribution of power that they change their presidents annually, which most countries cannot claim. But Switzerland is not a fantasy land. Like most nations, there are ups and downs. The lawmaking system states that ordinary citizens can participate in all levels of politics, and therefore can effectively change laws through referendums and initiatives. They vote for everything. Any opposing opinion is also allowed to be heard, despite the majority stance. While this sounds like the perfect form of democracy, it slows down the legislative process significantly. The power of the people greatly squashes any government officials from corrupting the system with the rapid passing of unwanted laws. This begs the question, will the lack of a unifying capital and the constant demands for equality in politics grind this country to a development halt? Not likely. Despite the frustrations, Switzerland seems to have found that magic sweet spot of citizen involvement and fair governance that other nations desperately seek, and with no capital needed. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.